Imagine spending 100 hours with a man who has dedicated his entire life not to chasing money, not to collecting pleasures, not to impressing the world, but to mastering himself. 100 hours with someone who has trained his body to endure what feels impossible, and trained his mind to remain calm in the middle of storms. This is not a retreat. This is not a holiday. This is an encounter with reality. The kind of reality most of us avoid our entire lives. When you spend time with a monk like Shi Heng Yi, you quickly realize something. The real world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your comfort. It only reveals who you are when all distractions are stripped away. These 100 hours will not give you comfort. They will give you truth, and sometimes truth hurts. But when you face it, when you endure it, you come out the other side with something money can't buy and society can't give you: inner strength. So, let's step into those 100 hours together, and let me share with you 6 lessons that can reshape your life forever. When you step into the world of the Shaolin temple, the first thing that shocks you is not the training. It's not the long hours, the pain, or even the discipline. The first thing that confronts you is silence. A silence so heavy that it feels like it's pressing on your chest, forcing you to hear sounds you've avoided your whole life, the sound of your own thoughts. Most people in the modern world have never experienced true silence. We fill every second with noise. Music in the background, podcasts in our ears, endless scrolling, constant messages, and we tell ourselves we are busy, but what we are really doing is hiding. We are hiding from the storm inside. Shi Heng Yi often says, if you cannot sit alone with yourself for 1 hour, then you are not free. Think about that. If you feel restless when the world grows quiet, it means you are running away. But running from what? From yourself, from the insecurities you never healed, from the regrets you never faced, from the truths about your life you keep buried. In the temple, silence is the first teacher, because in silence there is nowhere left to hide. And this is why the first hours of training feel unbearable for many people, not because of push-ups or endless drills, but because of stillness. Stillness exposes everything. After just a few hours of silence, your mind begins to scream. It throws thoughts at you like knives. You're not good enough. You will fail. You should quit. Why are you here? You don't belong. These voices are not new. They were always inside you, but the noise of the outside world covered them up. Silence only reveals what was already there. And here lies the painful truth. Most men in today's world are not broken by hardship. They are broken by their own thoughts. They spend their lives chasing distractions so they don't have to hear that inner voice. They numb themselves with entertainment, with women, with alcohol, with status, with endless goals. But deep down they know, when the night gets quiet, when the phone is off, when nobody is around, those voices return. And they are louder than ever. Shi Heng Yi teaches that silence is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to show you who you really are. Because only when you face those voices can you begin to master them. Only when you sit with your pain long enough can you learn to transform it. In those first hours, the silence feels like torture, but then something begins to shift. The more you endure it, the less power those voices have. You realize that thoughts are like clouds. They come, they go, and they only control you if you chase them. You don't have to believe everything your mind says. This is why silence is the foundation of strength. A man who cannot endure silence will always be weak, no matter how much money he has, no matter how strong his muscles are, no matter how many women want him. Because the moment the noise stops, his weakness is revealed. But the man who can sit in silence and remain unshaken, he is free. He is not addicted to distraction. He does not need validation. He does not run from himself. He has faced the storm within and found calm on the other side. So, the silence that breaks you is also the silence that builds you. The same stillness that feels unbearable at first becomes the most powerful tool for growth. Because once you conquer silence, nothing outside can disturb you anymore. That is why the first lesson of these 100 hours is not about fighting others, but about facing yourself. And until you win that battle, you will never truly win in life. Most people in the modern world think discipline is a prison. They think waking up early, eating clean, training daily, or following strict routines is a kind of suffering that takes away freedom. But the truth is the exact opposite. Lack of discipline is the real prison. Discipline is the door to freedom. Shi Heng Yi often explains it like this. When a man is undisciplined, he becomes a slave to his cravings, to his moods, to his emotions, to his laziness. He cannot control his sleep, so he wakes up tired. He cannot control his appetite, so his body becomes heavy. He cannot control his urges, so women and desires chain him. He cannot control his mind, so distractions steal his life. He lives like a prisoner, but the chains are invisible. Now compare this to the disciplined man. He wakes up when he decides, not when his body demands. He eats to fuel, not just to please his tongue. He trains even when tired, because he knows strength is built in struggle. He works with focus, while others waste time. To the undisciplined man, this looks like suffering, but in reality, the disciplined man is free. Free from addiction, free from weakness, free from regret. The Shaolin temple embodies this truth. Every day is built on routine, training at dawn, meditation, repetition, repetition, repetition. At first, newcomers resist it. They feel trapped, controlled, suffocated by the rules. But after weeks, something changes. They realize that within this structure, their mind becomes clear, their body becomes strong, and their spirit feels alive. The structure they once hated becomes the foundation that saves them. This is why Shi Heng Yi says, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the path to mastery. Think of a sword. Without heat and hammering, it stays weak metal. Without discipline, a man stays unshaped, dull, fragile. The fire is not meant to destroy. It is meant to refine. Many men today cry about lack of freedom. They say, I want to live free. I don't want rules. So they break every structure. They sleep whenever, eat whatever, chase every pleasure, live without responsibility. But is that freedom? No, that's slavery to chaos. True freedom is the ability to control your life, not be controlled by your impulses. The undisciplined man cannot even enjoy pleasure, because when he drinks, he overdrinks. When he rests, he oversleeps. When he loves, he clings. His lack of control turns blessings into poison. Discipline, on the other hand, allows balance. It gives you the ability to enjoy without being destroyed. Ask yourself honestly, who is more free? The man who cannot go one day without scrolling for hours, or the man who controls when he uses technology? The man who cannot stop chasing women, or the man who chooses if and when he gives his heart? The man who cannot control his tongue and eats himself into sickness, or the man who eats with wisdom and lives with strength? Freedom is not doing what you want. Freedom is having the power to say no. In the temple, every push-up, every strike, every meditation is not just for the body. It is training the spirit to obey, even when the flesh is weak. Because in life, The man who can command himself will always stand above the man who only obeys his impulses. When you embrace discipline, regret disappears, laziness dies, excuses vanish, and something greater is born inside you. A quiet confidence, a sharp focus, a warrior's calm. That is why those who once hated routine eventually realize structure is the very thing that gave them freedom. So remember this: life without discipline is chaos. Life with discipline is order, and order is freedom. Most men fear pain. They run from it, they hide from it, they try to numb it with distractions, alcohol, entertainment, or relationships. But the truth is this: pain is not your enemy. Pain is the most honest teacher you will ever have in life. Shi Heng Yi often says, if you want to know yourself, look at how you deal with pain, because pain strips away the masks, the excuses, and the lies. When you are comfortable, you can pretend. You can act strong, you can act confident, you can act disciplined. But when pain enters your life, the truth is revealed. Think about the body. When you train, when you push your muscles, when you run until your lungs burn, you feel pain. At that moment, you have a choice: stop or continue. If you stop, you remain the same. If you continue, you grow. The pain is not there to destroy you. It is there to signal, this is the place where you must grow. Without pain, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no transformation. But it is not only physical pain. Life gives emotional pain. Rejection, betrayal, loneliness, heartbreak, failure, these are the fires that forge character. A man who has never been betrayed does not know loyalty. A man who has never been rejected does not understand humility. A man who has never failed does not taste victory. Pain gives meaning to strength. The problem is not pain. The problem is our relationship with pain. Most men today treat pain as something unfair, as something that should not exist. They ask, why me? Why is life so hard? But the Shaolin way does not ask why. It asks, how can I use this? Every hit, every scar, every fall is a lesson. You don't escape pain, you transform it. Shi Heng Yi shares the story of training in the temple. The body bleeds, the skin cracks, the muscles ache. Many students cry, some quit. But those who stay, those who endure, begin to understand. The pain is not punishment. The pain is preparation. It prepares you for life outside, where no master is there to guide you, where only your spirit must carry you forward. Pain also teaches presence. When you are in pain, you cannot escape into the future or the past. The mind becomes very sharp, very focused. Think of when you touch something hot instantly. Your attention is here now. Pain forces you into the present moment. And that is where growth lives. But here is the most important lesson. Pain reveals what truly matters. When life breaks you, you learn who stands with you. When you lose, you learn what is worth fighting for. When your heart hurts, you discover what you truly value. Pain cleans the soul of illusions and shows you reality. The strongest men you will ever meet are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who were tested. They lost, they failed, they were broken, but they did not stay down. They took the pain and turned it into strength. That is why their presence feels unshakable, because they have already survived storms. So, brother, if you are in pain right now, do not curse it. Do not run from it. Sit with it. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Maybe it is teaching you discipline. Maybe it is teaching you patience. Maybe it is teaching you humility. Maybe it is teaching you to let go. Whatever the lesson, accept it. Because once you pass the test of pain, you rise to a new level of life. Pain is not permanent, but the man it shapes that is permanent. So remember this, pain is the fire. You are the sword, without the fire you remain dull. With the fire you become sharp, unbreakable, unstoppable. In today's world, everyone is running after money, after success, after women, after respect, after recognition. The world teaches you, if you are not moving, you are losing. If you are not busy, you are lazy. If you are not chasing, you are falling behind. But the Shaolin way teaches something very different. Sometimes the greatest strength is in stillness. Shi Heng Yi often says, if you do not know how to be still, you will never know who you are. Because when you are constantly moving, constantly chasing, constantly distracted, you are living in reaction to the world. You are not acting from your true center. You are only reacting to what comes at you. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is power. Think of water. When it is disturbed, it cannot reflect clearly. But when it is still, it reflects everything perfectly. The same is true with the mind. When your mind is restless, filled with noise, chasing desires, running in fear, you cannot see life clearly. You make poor decisions. You get trapped in toxic relationships. You waste energy on things that do not matter. But when the mind becomes still, clarity arrives, and from clarity, true power is born. This is why meditation is at the heart of Shaolin training. The body trains, yes. The fists strike, yes. But the spirit must be calm. The ability to sit, breathe, and simply observe. This is the foundation of mastery. Without stillness, strength has no direction. Without stillness, ambition has no wisdom. Without stillness, success has no peace. Many men in the modern world are restless because they confuse stillness with weakness. They think, if I am still, I will fall behind. But what is the point of running fast if you are running in the wrong direction? What is the point of chasing women, money, or validation if it only leaves you empty? Stillness gives you the map before you start the journey. When you practice stillness, you begin to notice the patterns of your mind. You see how often you are controlled by fear, by desire, by ego. You notice the constant need for approval, the endless hunger for stimulation, the inability to sit with yourself. And when you see these patterns, you can begin to break them. Stillness is also where you hear the deeper voice inside. The voice of intuition, the voice of spirit, the voice of truth. The world is loud, full of opinions, full of pressure, full of lies. But inside you, there is a place that is silent, a place that always knows. When you are still, you can hear it. That voice does not speak in fear. It does not speak in comparison. It speaks in truth. And here is the paradox. The man who can sit still with himself becomes unshakable in the world, because he does not need the world to fill his emptiness. He does not need noise to hide his pain. He does not need constant stimulation to feel alive. He carries peace within himself. That peace is his weapon, his shield, his unbreakable ground. The modern man is addicted to movement because he is afraid of silence. In silence, you meet yourself, and many are afraid of that meeting. They are afraid of the emptiness, afraid of the questions, afraid of the truth. But only when you face that silence do you truly begin to transform. Stillness does not mean inaction. Stillness means acting from the right place. A still mind is like an archer aiming at the target. The arm is steady, the eye is calm, the shot is precise. Without stillness, you shoot wildly, wasting energy, missing the mark. With stillness, every action becomes powerful, every decision becomes wise, every step becomes meaningful. So, brother, Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to breathe. Learn to slow down. 5 minutes of stillness a day is better than 5 hours of running without purpose. The world will not teach you this, but the Shaolin temple will. Power is not in noise. Power is in silence. And remember this truth. The storm may rage outside, but the calm man inside will always find his way. Most people believe strength is measured by muscles, by size, by the weight you can lift, or by the physical battles you can win. But Shi Heng Yi teaches something different. True strength is not outside. True strength is inside. True strength is in the mind, in the heart, in the spirit. When I first entered the temple, I thought endurance, physical training, and long hours would be the hardest part. I was wrong. The hardest part was controlling my mind while my body screamed to quit. The hardest part was staying calm when fear and doubt attacked. The hardest part was standing firm when every muscle, every bone, every nerve in my body begged me to collapse. Shi Heng Yi often says, "A weak mind will always betray a strong body." You can be physically powerful, but if your mind panics in stress, if your heart falters under pressure, all that physical strength is useless. Mental strength allows a man to endure pain, resist temptation, and keep going when the world tells him to give up. Strength beyond the body is also about patience. In the temple, repetition is endless. Punch after punch, stance after stance, hour after hour. At first, it seems meaningless. The body tires, the mind questions, "Why am I doing this?" But then you realize the lesson is not in the movement itself. The lesson is in persistence, in focus, in the discipline to keep showing up even when no one is watching, even when you see no immediate reward. That is true strength. Emotional strength is also tested. A man cannot control everything in life. People will betray him. Friends will leave. Loved ones will disappoint. The world will hit him. But if he has built inner strength, if he has trained his mind and spirit like a warrior trains his body, he will remain unshaken. Life can take his possessions, life can take his comfort, life can take his fame, but it cannot take the man who has mastered himself. Brother, true power also comes from self-awareness. A strong man knows his weaknesses. A strong man knows his triggers. A strong man does not pretend to be perfect. He studies himself every day, confronts his fears, and accepts his limitations while striving to overcome them. Physical strength without self-awareness is dangerous. Strength without wisdom is chaos. Strength beyond the body is harmony. Shi Heng Yi teaches another crucial lesson: patience in building strength. No one becomes a master overnight. The monk does not aim to be the fastest, the strongest, or the most impressive. He aims to endure. He aims to refine. He aims to transform. That is why even small victories, like holding a stance longer than yesterday, or mastering one movement, feel monumental, because strength is accumulated quietly, slowly, persistently. Another layer of this strength is resilience. When the world pushes you down, when life is unfair, when every failure screams at you to quit, strength beyond the body keeps you standing. It keeps you moving forward. It gives you the courage to face reality without flinching, to endure hardship without complaining, and to rise every time you fall. Finally, Shi Heng Yi teaches that strength is also about compassion. A man who masters his body, mind, and spirit can choose to fight or not. True strength allows you to protect, to help, and to guide rather than dominate or destroy. The strongest men are not those who conquer others. They are those who conquer themselves first. So remember this: Physical power is temporary. Ego-driven achievements are fleeting. But the strength beyond the body, built in silence, forged through pain, disciplined by repetition, and refined by the mind, this is permanent. This is what makes a man unshakable. This is what allows him to face life without fear, to act without hesitation, and to carry peace even in chaos. Strength is not only in what you do, it is in who you are. After 100 hours with Shi Heng Yi, after enduring silence, pain, discipline, and building strength beyond the body, there comes a moment that feels almost unreal. It is not marked by movement, by shouting, or by triumph. It is marked by stillness, by quiet, by the simple, powerful presence of peace. Most men in the world search for happiness. They chase it with money, with success, with women, with fame. They think life's goal is pleasure, but happiness is fragile, temporary, and dependent on things outside yourself. It can be taken away in a moment. Peace, on the other hand, is internal. Peace cannot be stolen, cannot be destroyed, cannot be bought. It is the only thing that is truly yours. Shi Heng Yi teaches that peace is not about avoiding life. It is not about escaping pain or walking away from challenges. Peace is born from endurance. Peace is the result of having faced the storms, having confronted the self, having built strength and discipline, and having mastered the mind. Only then can a man stand still while the world rages around him. In the temple, I witnessed this truth. The monks moved with purpose, yet their faces were calm. They struck with precision, yet their hearts were still. They endured the harshest pain, yet their spirit remained unshakable. That is peace, not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of struggle. Peace allows a man to act with clarity. When everything around you is chaos, when decisions feel impossible, when emotions scream, peace becomes the anchor. It allows you to see the path clearly. It allows you to choose wisely. It allows you to move from strength, not from fear or desperation. And here is what most men fail to understand. Without peace, no amount of strength, discipline, or knowledge can save you. You can lift heavy weights, endure pain, and train your mind, but if your heart is restless, if your mind is unsettled, if your spirit is ungrounded, you will always feel incomplete. Peace is the final lesson, the culmination of all the struggles, and the foundation for everything else in life. Shi Heng Yi often says, peace is not a reward. It is the discipline you carry every day, the calm you return to when everything falls apart. This means that peace is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is a practice, a state of mind, a choice you make every moment. It is saying to yourself, no matter what happens outside, I will remain grounded inside. Peace is also the ultimate freedom. Because when a man has peace, he is no longer controlled by desires, fears, or opinions of others. He is free to act, free to love, free to create, and free to endure. Nothing outside him has the power to disturb him. He has conquered the one battlefield that matters most, the battlefield within. As I sat with Shi Heng Yi, watching the sunset after days of training, I understood this lesson deeply. All the pain, all the discipline, all the struggle led to this quiet moment of clarity, and I realized everything else in life, success, happiness, love, wealth, follows from peace. When you have it, you can pursue anything without being lost or broken along the way. So, brother, if you take one lesson from these 100 hours, let it be this: stop searching for happiness outside. Stop chasing fleeting pleasures. Stop letting the world dictate your emotions. Build peace within. cultivate it every day. Endure the struggle, face yourself in silence, discipline your mind and body, and carry strength beyond the physical. Only then will you discover the calm that cannot be shaken. Peace is the final mastery. The world may rage, life may test, and pain may strike, but you will stand steady, rooted, unbreakable, and free. And when that happens, you will finally understand what Shi Heng Yi has spent a lifetime teaching. Life is not about what happens to you. Life is about the peace you carry through it all. So now you understand, peace is not something you find outside. Peace is not something the world gives you. It is something you earn, something you build, something you carry inside yourself every single day. Think about your life right now. How many moments have been stolen by fear, by doubt, by restlessness? How many hours have been wasted chasing temporary happiness, seeking validation from people who don't truly care? Shi Heng Yi's life shows us a different path, a path where silence, discipline, endurance, and inner strength create something that cannot be shaken. You don't need to be the strongest in the world, the richest, or the most successful. You don't need to impress anyone, chase anyone, or prove yourself to anyone. What you need is to be unshakable. What you need is peace, and that peace is built in silence. It is refined in pain. It is forged in discipline, and it is completed in inner strength. So if this message touches you, if even one part of it resonates in your heart, don't let it end here. Don't just watch and move on. Practice it. Challenge yourself. Sit in silence, push through the pain, discipline your body, train your mind, and protect your peace. Because nobody else can do it for you, only you can. And if this video gives you strength, share it. Share it with a brother, a friend, or someone lost who needs to hear the truth. Build a community of people who no longer chase hollow pleasures, but instead master themselves, their minds, and their lives. Subscribe to this channel. Comment below with what lesson hit you the hardest. Like this video if it inspired even a spark of change inside you. And remember this, the world will test you, life will challenge you, pain will arrive. But the man who carries peace within will always rise, always endure, always prevail.